Okay, so welcome back. Yesterday, we left off when Mama and Kenny and Dad and Joey came back out to the car to find out what was going on with Byron. And so Mama was, oh, my baby, falling backwards. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Joey, of course, started crying right along with Byron. Dad was doing his best not to explode laughing. Big puffs of smoke were coming out of his nose and mouth as he tried to squeeze his laughs down. Finally, he put his head on his arms and leaned against the car's hood and howled. "Byron," Mama said, gently wiping tears off his cheeks with the end of her scarf. "It's okay, sweetheart. How'd this happen?" She sounded like she was going to be crying in a minute herself. Dad raised his head and said, "Why are you asking how it happened? Can't you tell, Willona? This little knucklehead was kissing his reflection in the mirror and got his lip stuck." Dad took a real deep breath. "Is your tongue stuck too?" "No, quit teasing, Daddy. Hell. Well, at least the boy hadn't gotten too passionate with himself. Dad thought that was hilarious and put his head back on his arms. Mama didn't see anything funny. "Daniel Watson, what are we going to do? What do you all do when this happens up here?" Mama started talking Southern style when she got worried. Instead of saying here, she said here. Instead of saying you all, she said y'all. Oops. Dad stopped laughing long enough to say, "Willona, I've lived in Flint all my life, 35 years, and I swear this is the first time I've ever seen anyone with their lips frozen to a mirror. Honey, I don't know what to do. Wait till he thaws out?" "Pull him off, Dad," I suggested. Byron went nuts. He started banging his hands on the brown bomber's doors again and mumbling, No, Ma, don't let him." Joey blubbered out, "This is just like that horrible story Kenny read me about that guy Narcissi who stared at himself so long he forgot to eat and starved to death. Mommy, please save him." She went over and hugged her arms around stupid Byron's waist. Mama asked Dad, "What about hot water? Couldn't we pour enough hot water on the mirror so it could warm up and he could get off?" She kept wiping tears off By's cheeks and said, "Don't you worry, baby. We're going to get you off of this." But her voice was so shaky and southern that I wondered if we'd be driving around in the summer with a skeleton dangling from the outside mirror by its lips. Dad said, "I don't know. Pouring water on him might be the worst thing to do, but it might be our only chance. Why don't you go get some hot tap water and I'll stay to wipe his cheeks." Joey told By, "Don't worry, we'll come right back." She stood on her tiptoes and gave By a kiss. Then she and Mama ran inside. Dad cracked up all over again. "Well, lover boy, I guess this means that no one could call you Hot Lips, can they?" Dad was killing himself. "Or the last of the red hot lovers either, huh?" He tugged on Byron's ear a little, pulling his face back. By went nuts again. "Don't do that! Mama! Kenny, go get Mama! Hooey!" I guess that's not going to work, is it? Every time he wiped away the tears and the little mustache of boogers on Byron's lip, Dad couldn't help laughing until a little river of tears was coming out of his eyes too. Dad tried to straighten his face out when Mama and Joey came running back with a steaming glass of hot water, but the tears were still running down his cheeks. Mama tried to pour water on the mirror, but her hands were shaking so much she was splashing it all over the place. Dad tried too, but he couldn't look at Byron without laughing and shaking. That meant I had to do it. I knew that if my lips were frozen on something and everybody was shaking too much to pour water on them except for Byron, he'd do some real cruel stuff to me. He probably would have accidentally splashed my eyes until they were frozen open, or put water in my ears until I couldn't hear anything. But not me. I gently poured a little stream of water over the mirror. Dad was right. This was the worst thing we could do. The water made a cracking sound and froze solid as soon as it touched the mirror and Bai's lips. Maybe Bai's mouth was frozen, but his hands sure weren't, and he popped me right in the forehead, hard. I hate to say it, but I started crying too. It's no wonder the neighbors called us the weird Watsons behind our backs. There we were, all 5 of us, standing around a car with the temperature about 1,000,000 degrees below zero, and each and every one of us crying. "Tup, tup," Bai yelled. "Daniel Watson, what are we going to do?" Mama went nuts. "You got to get this boy to the hospital. My baby is going to die." Dad tried to look serious real quick. "Willona, how far do you think I'd get driving down the street with this little clown attached to the mirror? What am I supposed to do? Have him run beside the car all the way down to the emergency room?" Mama looked real close at Bai's mouth, closed her eyes for a second like she was praying, and finally said, "Daniel, you get in there and call the hospital and see what they say we should do. Joey and Kenny, go with your daddy." Dad and Joey went crying into the house. I stayed by the brown bomber. I figured Mom was clearing everybody out for something. Byron did too, and looked at Mama in a real nervous way. Mama put her scarf around Byron's face and said, "Sweetheart, you know we gotta do something. I'ma try to warm your face up a little. Just relax." "Okay, Mama." "You know I love you and wouldn't do anything to hurt you, right?" If Mama was trying to make Byron relax, she wasn't doing a real good job at it. All this talk about love and not getting hurt was making him real nervous. "What are you gonna do? Huh? Don't hurt me, okay? Help!" Mama moved the scarf away and put one hand on Byron's chin and the other one on his forehead. "No! Help me! Kay!" Mama gave Byron's head a good hard snatch, and my eyes automatically shut, and my hands automatically flew up to cover my ears, and my mouth automatically flew up and screamed out, "Ew!" I didn't see it, but I bet Byron's lips stretched a mile before they finally let go of that mirror. I bet his lips looked like a giant rubber band before they snapped away from that glass. I didn't hear it, but I bet Byron's lips made a sound like a giant piece of paper being ripped in half. When I opened my eyes, Byron was running to the house with his hands over his mouth and Mama following right behind him. I ran over to the mirror to see how much of Byron's mouth was still stuck there. The dirty dogs let Byron get away with not doing his share of the windows, and I had to do the whole car myself. When we were finally going to Aunt Sydney's house, I decided to pay Byron back for punching me in the forehead and getting out of doing his part of the window scraping. Joey was sitting between us, so I felt kind of safe. I said to her, loud, "Joetta, guess what? I'm thinking about writing my own comic book." "What about?" "Well, it's going to be about this real mean criminal who has a terrible accident that turns him into a superhero." Joey knew I was going to tease Byron, so she sat there looking like I should be careful what I said. Finally, I asked her, "Do you want to know what I'm going to call this new superhero?" "What?" "I'm going to call him the Lipless Wonder. All he does is beat up superheroes smaller than him, and the only thing he's afraid of is a cold mirror." All the weird Watsons, except Byron, cracked up. Mama's hand even covered her mouth. I was the only one who saw Byron flip me the dirty finger sign and try to whisper without smearing all the Vaseline Mama had put on his lips. "You wait. I'm going to kick your little behind." Then he made his eyes go crossed, which was his favorite way of teasing me. But I didn't care. I knew who had won this time.